This is the story of David, who turned his weakness into a strength and won everyone's hearts. David was the only son in his family. His uncles had no sons either. Even his father refused to accept him as a son because of his voice. Everyone called him a transgender person, and people would mock him, saying, "What kind of voice is this? You shouldn't speak." From childhood, David's voice was neither like a boy's nor a girl's. It was completely different, so deep that no one had ever heard a voice like his. At school, in college, in the streets, even at home, people made fun of him. They would say, "Thank God! Thank goodness he's not our son! If he were, how would we face the world?" Because of these comments and the constant mocking, David became quiet. He even tried to commit suicide a couple of times, thinking it would be better to die than to live like this. But each time, someone saved him. After his third attempt, his mother cried a lot. And David finally spoke. "Why did you save me?" When David's sobbing voice was heard, those around him, including his cousins, started laughing again. It was in that moment when David realized, "Why am I trying to destroy myself for people who mocked me yesterday and are laughing even today when I'm in this state?" He decided right then that he would make them stop laughing with the same voice they made fun of. After a few days of deep thought, David decided he wanted to become a radio jockey. He went for many interviews, but everywhere he went, people laughed at his voice and told him to leave. Even after all this ridicule and failure, David didn't give up. One day he made up his mind to sit outside the radio office until he was given a chance. From morning to night, he sat outside the station, and a month passed like this. One day, the boss of the radio station called him in and said, "We don't have any job for you. Why are you wasting your time?" David replied, "I have already wasted enough time. Now I want to do something for myself. I have suffered a lot because of this voice, and now I want to make it my identity." Hearing David's words, the boss gave him a 2 a.m. show and said, "This is all I can offer you." David's happiness knew no bounds. He eagerly began his late night show, but on the first day, no one turned in. 2 weeks passed without any audience. But David didn't lose hope. He continued to pour his heart into the show. One night, David said on air, "If anyone wants to vent their frustration or anger, you can call this show, because no one is listening to us anyway." After saying that, he received a call from a girl. The girl said, "Since no one is listening, I'm going to tell you. I'm fed up with my boss." She vented all her frustration during the call, and at the end, David gave her advice on how to handle the situation. Gradually, more and more people started calling in to vent their frustrations and seek David's advice. Soon, his show gained a following, and it became one of the highest rated shows on the station. Offers started pouring in for TV shows, and people began to admire David. Whenever he went out, people would ask to take pictures with him. David had used his voice, the very thing people mocked, to make a special place in everyone's hearts. Who once laughed at him were now apologizing and asking for selfies. Just like David, we should turn our weaknesses into strengths and use them to create something remarkable.